Issue 39, Hachette Collection's Combat Patrol. We've been ambushed by 5 new Eldar Wraith Guards. Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games, and today we're going to be reviewing issue 39 of our continuing series of Hachette Collection's Combat Patrol. Now in this issue you get 5 Wraith Guard, and we have the actual minis here. You also get a couple of data sheets and terrain cards. So what we'll do is we'll look through the actual issue first and we'll look at the rest of it. Now the issue itself is fairly straightforward. You have the usual how to build and how to paint guide, and that takes up roughly half the actual issue because this is an all-in-one issue. You will get 5 Wraith Guard, or indeed Wraith Blades if you want to make them that way. Now the difference between Wraith Guard and Wraith Blades is just basically the difference between, say, armed and melee. So there's a couple of options to this actual build, but it only gives you the instructions for the guys with the actual guns. So you have here, of course, the data sheet for the Wraith Guard, and you have some more core rules, such as the strategic preserves and terrain features, such as crates and rubbles and barricades and fuel pipes. So all adding to the actual, the large rules collection that you have from previous issues. It also shows you here how to use some of the actual terrain cards. So this is a nice little touch because it just allows you to use your current scenarios and cheats a little bit better. And as you can see here, you have a scenario that gives you some deployment zones and terrain deployment zones, and of course whether you can succeed with the Wraith Guard or the Chaos Space Marines. And of course it shows you a little bit more here of the Hold Eldar and what of course comes next. Now the actual cards you get are interesting. So you get plenty of the orcs, so there's going to be a lot of orc issues coming up, and as you can see here you have the orc symbol. And you'll get some details. I'll just zoom in here. You'll get some details on upcoming issues such as the War Boss and Mega Armor. You've got the boys, of course, which is always cool because they're just basically like football hooligans, so they're just called the boys. You have the Death Dread, which is basically like a orc dreadnought. And you have the Death Coptas, which is how they kind of fly about the place. You also have the data sheets here for the Wraith Guard. So these are the guys that we actually have, and they are impervious to pain and are armed with Wraith cannons. So they're not actually an Eldar in them. What's powering them is an actual Spirit Stone. So it's basically the equivalent of a Space Marine Dreadnought or an Orc Dreadnought, in the sense that this is a kind of a heavy infantry thing. You also have here the Chaos Terminator Squad, which is another upcoming issue. And you have, of course, here some of the data sheets behind them and sign of etheric rights for the old Chaos. Chaos. Sorry, you have Dark Packs here and etheric rights. So this is just kind of a data sheet for some of the Chaos Combat Patrol, and again, some more information here in terms of Hateful Extortion, Infernal Blessing, Champion of the Dark Gods, and Idolatrous Spoilers. So these are just basically kind of little handy reminders. And you have here, of course, some of the terrain data sheets. So this looks like a very Terran kind of planet. You have an Imperium kind of manhole cover, and these of course are double-sided, so no matter where you flip. And you also have other insane other kind of cheat sheets, or tack aids, I suppose you could say. Insane Bravery, Grenade, Tank Shock, and you have Command Reroll, Counter Offensive, an Epic Challenge. So these are all kind of rules in the game that you can use. You have here Rapid Ingress, Fire Overwatch, Go to Ground, Smokescreen, and Heroic Intervention. So those are all the actual sheets. What we have here now are the Wraith Guard themselves. And again, they're pretty cool little minis. Now they're kind of smaller versions of the big huge walker that we had prior to this. And of all the ones I painted, this one ended up being my favorite because, I don't know, I just like the idea that this guy is #1 scout, that he's just in the lead and he's keeping his weapon to bear and kind of checking out front. Now, of course, he's probably got sensors, so he wouldn't literally be kind of eyeballing it, but nevertheless, I thought it was kind of a happy accident that this one just kind of turned out the way it did. There is some flexibility in the arms, so you can kind of bring the weapon up and down, and there is of course a different type of weapon that comes with it. There's another range type of weapon comes, but also these are the Wraith Guard, whereas also these minis come with swords and kind of side scabbard sword things, so they would be known as the Wraith Blades. So if you pick up 2 or 3 versions of this issue, you could get very easily get a team of 15 Wraith Guard with 3 different armaments each, or 3 different armaments for the 3 different sections. So this is a very good value issue and well worth picking up. Again, they're all fairly similar. The legs is where you'd see the majority of the distance. So they all have different kind of stages of walking, different paces, and they'd have the weapons at different kind of statuses or slung or things like that. But again, a fun, easy little paint. And again, what's nice as well is the heads are all fairly similar, but the arms are different to a degree, so that the weapons can be held in different parts, and the legs are all again different as well. So the last 2 are in motion, where this guy is just kind of standing, basically possibly bringing the weapon to bear, or is just on guard. You have another one here where he is standing, and of course you can see the wind was blowing the actual little turban, or tunic I should say, to the right. And again, they're cool little things. The other thing is the torsos do differentiate a little bit as well. So you would have here one type of kind of, there's a cut in the middle at the back there, whereas in the previous one you can see that there is no cut. So you can kind of differentiate between the guys a little bit. And I suppose if you wanted to make one section leader stand out, you could kind of color in the gems a little bit less, or color the gems a different color. In the actual pink guide on the front of the magazine, they were all just kind of red all over, but I just like the idea of blue kind of soul stones dotted all along the actual machine. We have here another one. Again, I think this was the previous one. As you can see, again, there's a different shape here on top with the kind of the chunks taken out. And for the actual helmet, I just spray painted with white scar. The body itself is Mephiston red, highlighted with Evil Sun's scarlet. The weapon itself is just black, simple chaos black or Abaddon black, with small little highlights of Dark Reaper. And the gems are just basically Techless blue with a kind of small touch of Temple Guard blue. So you don't need that many paints to do these. They're very straightforward. They're pretty cool little models. So the Eldar are kind of generally considered smaller than most other infantry pieces on the board, but these guys would tower over even a Space Marine. So this is what you get in issue 39 of Combat Patrol, and again, this is an issue that it's worth getting multiples of, because you can get 3 different types of builds. You can get melee and 2 types of range. As always, if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and until next time, this is Sean, signing off.